round number 8 of the UK&I Skip Barber series here on Racesport TV, comes to you live from Watkins, Glen International. Stay with us, we'll be back in just a few moments' time. It's Monday night on Racesport TV, and we've come this week, week number 8, to the very southern tip of Seneca Lake. We are in Watkins Glen, New York, of course. And where else to race Skippys than possibly one of the biggest draft tracks for these cars that isn't, of course, the Nürburgring or Le Mans. Okay, it's not the biggest draft track, but it is one of the favourite tracks of the year. Rich Whiteford, Connery Maddock and Minas Prostrom bringing you all the action today. And as the checkered flag flies in qualifying, we're going to head straight to your grid. Putting it on pole for the first time this season, and actually back at the front of the grid for UK&I with a 2:06.935. So in second place, Benny Simonson, Tom Ward in third, Brendan O'Brien in fourth, Tim Adcock in fifth. Behind them, it's Mark Turner, David Grunnell, Stuart Adcock, Ryan Walker, and Clark Williams. Rest of the results up on your screen. Connery, it's a bit of a who's top 10 at the moment, and some very famous names are going to be very close together in a few moments' time.
Indeed, and of course UK&I is at the top of qualifying once again. I think that's the first time for a while, first time this season at least. Is it too early to say that UK&I is back in form? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, and judging on previous form, he may end up in a tree backwards at this stage, but let's not jinx him, shall we, Linus?
No, let's not. I think if he can just have a good start here, he will have a good chance to win this race, but there's not any bad names right behind him, so he's going to have to watch out, because there's going to be a bunch of people wanting to beat him for that victory.
Certainly is, and we expect this to be a big draft track, of course. Not quite as big as places we've been this season, but you know what? Watkins Glen never disappoints. Tonight we have 12 laps around the classic boot layout. Weather tonight, 79 degrees Fahrenheit, track temperature of 107, winds are northwest at 3 miles an hour. It's going to be a great race tonight, and at some point I probably should change across my settings to Celsius, but I do too much American commentary, boys. Sorry, UK&I. As we go to the grid now, we'll have a look at who's going to be favourites. Connery, Tom Ward, got to be a favourite. No LJ Garnett this week, though. Ryan Walker, strong. And Benny Simonson, we always have to count him in. But Tim Adcock, out-qualifying the other Adcock for once. Could be a trend emerging.
It could well be. It's nice to see Tim Adcock this far up front. He isn't usually that far up front, but in the past few races he has improved quite a lot, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Ryan G. Walker, perhaps in his characteristic bottom end of the top 10 place, but Clark Williams, he will also be looking to improve his position from 10th right there. Good qualifying for Paul Thurston as well. He lines up 11th.
He certainly does. We have 55 cars on the grid tonight. This is a huge one for these guys, and well, it's Fraser Williamson doing his Wee Jock McRace Car Challenge. He will be starting from the back, starting, I believe, 51st place, we get to see how far he can climb up the grid. It's going to be like Zandvoort all over again. But we're going to head towards the front of this one and get ready for the green flag. Just a few seconds remaining now as these drivers will head on to the starting grid to begin the race. A very tricky set of conditions, of course, Linus, and this place, it's always a very tricky track. Big braking zones after very long straights definitely can concertina the field.
Yeah, luckily for these guys we don't have the boot at the end of the back straight, but going up turns 2, 3 and 4 up the hill with this big of a grid is going to be very, very interesting, because it's very hard to go too wide there without losing a ton of time or hitting the barrier. But we're used to seeing good clean starts in this series, so it's going to be fun to see what they can do today.
Could be the first time we see a clean start at Watkins Glen, but quickly, Connery, before we go to green, Antonides, Simonson, Ward, or an Adcock, who's going to win this race?
Oh, that is a very, very tough one indeed. I say I have to put my money on Tom Ward, just because he's been consistently good, basically. Benny Simonson hit and miss. Fremantle, he hasn't been as good through this season as he has been in past seasons. Tim Adcock, he's improved, but I don't think he's quite there yet, but we'll have to wait and see.
We certainly will, and with just a few moments remaining as we head to the grid for this one. We are actually on the grid, we're waiting for the start of the race. A few seconds left now before the drivers will finally be going. We have number 8. Where's the season gone already? Well, 8 of them have scurried past so quickly. Monday nights, of course, here on Raceport TV, as always, bringing you the best of the entry-level open wheel racing. Proving small does not mean not fun. I should have worked on that slogan before this. The engines will start to rev now. There's just a few moments remaining before we get the green flag here at Watkins Glen and the big drop down this sloping starting grid towards the treacherous turn 1, this right-hand 90-degree bend here, dropping further down the hill before we rise up through the S's and onto the backstretch towards the carousel and the boot. Antonides on pole, Simonson alongside him, behind him Tom Ward and Brendan O'Brien will be leading into the first corner. We'll have to find out because the green flag is waving and we're green at Watkins Glen. And it's a good start by Simonson. He actually has a good run, but Antonides will pull across to the outside for the entry to 1. Front 4 going single file, but up the inside shoots Tim Adcock, making a move on Brendan O'Brien early on, but Bryan actually washes back. As we see Mark Turner move up the inside, as will David Grunnell. So Brendan O'Brien really struggling there as well. Will come Stuart Adcock. Behind them, Ryan Walker, Clark Williams battling for position, but at the moment we're going to see a pass to the front. It's Simonson going to make a move on Fremantle.
Yep, and they're going to go 3 wide for your race lead already. Here comes Tom Ward, Benny Simpson, and Fremantle is all in a 3. I think Tom Ward will get 2 passes for the price of 1 right here, but Benny Simpson is not going to give up. He's going to try and get it down towards the inside in the carousel. Tom Ward still ahead, but he has to miss the apex. Benny Simpson still on the inside look behind though. For Fremantle United, he is still there, so a frantic fighting in the first stage of the
Certainly are. It's very busy on track right now, so we'll have a quick look back at what's going on behind him and looking back towards Rob Green in the 8. Huge pack of cars here, including the usual suspects: Robert Plumley, Ashley Beard, Brian Holmes, Nathan Davies and Steve Hefford in this mix. Bill Fraser in there as well. Pack of 2 wide racing here as we head through the toe of the boot. And it's a good run by these guys. Very clean at this stage, Linus. We've had no major incidents, and so far, 55 cars running.
Yeah, oh, there's a big crash at the bottom of the boot, just as you say that. 4 cars in the
barrier. Just
barrier.
as I said that. Me and my big mouth. And this happened to be around, I believe, the region of Ian Barker. We'll have to have a look at that one from before as Linus. We'll get a replay when we find out what's happened, but I believe it was actually John Jenkins involved, possibly. Ashley Sutton just clears this one, so he is not going to be involved in that incident, we think. Ashley Sutton clears the incident. He was just behind him, Linus, but yes, it's actually be a BTCC driver, Ashley Sutton. Race winner this year, running at the moment in 35th position. Hopefully a chance to improve that spot for him as he's racing there with Chris Malcolm, actually moving up a number of spots up towards 29th position at the moment with the 83 of Malcolm. Side by side to the final corner. Under the sprint bridge, and he'll head across the start finish line. We'll see how many spots he's moved up, along with Fraser Williamson. Sutton will be one to keep an eye on here, Connery. He will be a driver that will make places, and already he's up to 30th from starting in 35th, so 5 spots up.
Yeah, as he goes a little bit wide in turn 1 there, you can do that. There's lots of runoff on that turn 1 as they battle ahead of him. But good to see Ashley Sutton here with us for these Monday Night Skippies. He's perhaps more used to a car with a roof and a little bit more power than these ones, but he seems to be doing well right now, just sitting in the mid-pack and just getting past Cesario Rizzo there as they go 2 by 2 down the back straight, sorry.
Well, just like Le Mans last week, we're going to see 3 wide racing at the front of the pack every single lap, we think, down the back stretches. To the front will go the 35 car, I think that's one of the Apex Racing cars. Benny Simonson, actually it's the 37 machine of Simonson ahead of Antonides, ahead of Ward. Behind them, that is Tim Adcock and Mark Turner back in 5th place. This front 5 pulling away steadily. Linus, did you have an answer on what happened for us last lap around the boot?
I had. It was actually Alan Patterson who made contact and got spun around, and then the other 3 just came piling straight in, nowhere to go. It's been 2 and 3 wide all the way through the pack, so one little incident by someone will cause a big crash here. So everyone just needs to be a little bit patient and not make any sudden moves, and everything should be fine for the rest of this race.
Certainly true words have never been spoken there. So we'll have a quick look back here to where Chris Bassett's actually racing ahead of the likes of Ellis Stevens and Philip Euquert, who's just run off the track, so not a good time to focus on him. And the 79 car pulling to the outside of the heel of the boot there. A quick look back here at Mark O'Connell, the 94 machine, just behind this pack of cars. That Philip Euquert there is on Respectable Road, that's not showing live timing for him. Chris Bassett, one of the UK Clean Drivers cars there, will be ahead of O'Connell. We'll see if he can make any moves here as he moves up through the final corner. Any opportunity to move forwards would be useful at this stage, but heavy traffic, Linus, not really an opportunity to really pass too many cars and get clean air. It's a lot of 2 wide running, so it's going to be tricky at this circuit.
Yeah, you can gain a spot on a straight, and then on the next straight you will lose it again, and if you make a move on someone in the corner, the car behind you is going to have a massive run, so you really need to be patient here and plan what you're going to do, and even then it's really hard to get anywhere.
Certainly is. Back to the front there, Benny Simonson and Antonides side by side here, and once again 3 wide here on lap number 3. We've done it twice before, why not 3 times? Through the middle will go Tom Ward, he'll take the lead. Behind him, Simonson will hold the inside line as well, dropping back actually behind Antonides, so the 3 will work together at this stage, not really fighting too hard, Connery. They're working together to an extent here. They're swapping spots, they're using that draft slingshot bit. They're not getting each other's way, so steadily pulling away from Adcock and Turner behind them. In fact, that top 5 group is pulling further away, but we'll look back at Stuart Adcock, who's in the middle, 3 wide, with Ryan Walker and Clark Williams heading into the bridge of the boot. Insane 3 wide into turn number 7 there at Watkins Glen. I don't think I've seen that completed successfully before, but apparently Skippys can. This is very dense traffic here in the bottom of your top 10.
Yes, it is, and all this is doing is allowing those top 5 drivers to get away. If they keep running like this, they're just going to lose an absolute ton of time. As we see Stuart Adcock, he's going to pull up to the gearbox of Brendan O'Brien. Doesn't try to move this time by, but look behind him, here comes Ryan G. Walker on Clark Williams. Ryan G. Walker has the run off the corner, but can Clark Williams hold the inside? Look behind them, David Grunhill. Oh, he almost runs into the back of Clark Williams there. Grunhill will have a look on the inside now.
Certainly will, as they head up through the final bridge before arriving at the penultimate corner here. You'll see Stuart Adcock right behind the car there of Brendan O'Brien, just trying to get the right opportunity to make a move. He gets a good run to the final corner. Can this be his opportunity into turn number 1? Should have the draft here running down that sloping front stretch, which does drop away towards turn 1. He goes to the inside. Nice safe pass here by Stuart Adcock. Look to the inside, going to make it nice and clean here as he gets through in turn number 1. Good run through. Move Adcock up to 6th place. Although running wide in the exit, he'll still hold that spot for now. Have a look back further in your field as we see what's going on at the moment. There's some nice dense racing back here in the mid-pack. Thomas DJ Coombe running at the moment with Ian Baker and Steve Hefford. Now McGinty ahead of those cars. But as Hefford actually right ahead of Thomas Coombe right now, so Hefford moving himself up another spot. Qualified in 16th but dropped back to 32nd here, Linus. Not been the greatest race yet for Hefford.
Nah, he's been struggling in this dense traffic, and he's actually settled in 32nd now. I think he's going to start working his way up the field again now.
And that's a crash inside your top 10. Ryan G. Walker up and over onto the barrier as well. That is a very, very unfortunate incident for him there. We'll have to try and get a replay to see what happened. He was down through the carousel. Looks like Nathan Davies tried to make a move down the inside and just clips the rear of Ryan G. Walker and sent him into a spin and a barrel roll.
It wasn't initially that. It was initially contact, we believe, with one of the other cars near him. It was the number 02 car of David Grunnell he initially clips. Overcorrects, comes back, and Ryan Walker actually pushes up as well. Gets a tap there from Nathan Davies, yes, and it flips him over and over and over. And Ryan Walker in the fence. Not a great start or end to his race. Starting to see the carnage happening here at Watkins Glen. This is what we have in those middle laps. And it can get a little messy at this very high-speed track, as we are, of course, back with live coverage. At the very front, it's still Antonides, Ward and Simonson. No one really deciding who wants to lead here yet, Linus. All three of them really swapping spots, but we've seen here Adcock and Turner have managed to catch up again. They've rejoined this front five. And we now see a defensive line there from Ward and from Simonson at the very front. They're pulling to the inside line, trying to break that draft, but just too strong in these cars.
Yeah, they really have to keep swapping positions down the straights if you want to be as fast as possible, but as long as they stay behind each other on the straightaways, they should be able to pull away from 6th and 7th place. But I don't know for how long they want to do that either, because 5 cars, if you end up being the last car going on to the last lap, you're not going to be in a very good spot. So still want to be at the front as much as you can.
Oh, Simon Maltby with an incident he's had on the racetrack. We'll try and get you a quick replay of what's happened for Maltby. Heading into turn number 1, a common sight for problems. Oh, grabs too much curb, runs out, hits the 54 car of Ashley Sutton. And he gets tapped from behind as well by Neil Costin. And the pair of them go off the racetrack, but Costin will continue. No damage to really to the other cars apart from Costin. Not a good situation there. Lead 3 wide again. You know, we almost should stop covering this because they seem to do it every single lap. But, why not? We'll show it. It's 3 wide racing. As Adcock actually has moved up into 2nd place. Impressive running here from Tim Adcock. This is the highest we've seen him all season long. Impressive running. He's ahead there of Simonson, Ward and Mark Turner. Really shaking up this top 5. This could make things very exciting. Looking back towards the bottom of your top 10. The racing a bit quieter at the moment. Everyone's calmed down in that 2nd pack. Running in line, trying to catch up to your lead group again. This could make it very entertaining, Connery. This group can catch up to the front 5. We've got a real fight in our hands.
Yep, if they fall in line and stop fighting, that could be a very, very real possibility. But right now, that gap is looking a bit big to try and overcome. But again, if this front pack now decides to fight, they could, of course, drop back to 2nd pack, and we'll have at least 10-way fight for the race leader at some point, hopefully.
That's certainly looking possible. We'll have to see what will develop in this race. Have a look on the update from our Fraser Williamson Wee Jockmuck Race Car Challenge. Started 48th, he's currently running in 24th. He's climbed half the field, which is impressive by anybody's standards as well, so that's a great position for him. But Rhys Saunders, just up ahead of him, that M8 machine, up from 51st, Linus. He's in 22nd.
He's had a very good race again, and I don't know, we don't talk about him that much, and he's never really up against the front, but he always starts at the back and somehow managed to make his way through the field every single time he's out on track. So I think he's very aware of what's going on around him, and he's just very good at keeping it clean, and that pays off for him.
Looking towards the bottom of your top 10, Stuart Adcock's 52 car, along with Nathan Davies there and Brian Holmes. Running past the bus stop as well. We'll go back ahead of them because it's 3 wide with Clark Williams and Mark Turner. Actually, no, it's a very lead pack here of the race. It's Tim Adcock, Antonides, Simonson, Ward and Turner. We were 3 wide through the carousel there. It's going to be 2 wide into turn number 7. 2 wide, 2 deep there. Tim Adcock to the lead of this race here on lap number 6 of 12. Tim Adcock, will he be leading by the end of the lap? We'll have to find out. That could be a record for his season. But Tim Adcock, where has that pace come from?
I think you'll find they were actually 4 wide at the end of the straight right there. Skippy's one of the few cars where you can actually do that, so yes.
Part of me is almost suspicious to find out whether Tim and Stuart have swapped rigs for the evening, Linus.
I was actually thinking the exact same thing, but Stuart Adcock is just in that pack right behind him, and I think he's had quite some help from the draft, because 2 laps ago he made up 3 spots down the back straight just thanks to drafting, but We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll have an Adcock fight for the leader at the end.
That could be an exciting one. We'll have to see if the second pack can catch up, of course. We'll see now if Tim can score his first lap lead this season. I think it will be his first lap lead, but Tom Ward's going to have a quick look to the inside, and we know Tom Ward will go for any gap he can see on the racetrack. Be it A4 piece of paper sized, he will still try and put the car in there. He's a racer through and through. But Tim Adcock will lead a lap here at Watkins Glen. Great running from him. Have a quick look back through your notable runners. Actually, Beard out of position. He qualified in 12th, running 11th. Not done much today of much interest, really. Dave Grunnell qualified 7th. He's running down in 12th. Nathan Davies, he's up from bad qualifying. He's up 8 places from 15th to 7th. Running there with O'Brien, Adcock, Williams and Holmes. The Robert Plumley update will tell you he's really not moved. He started 18th, he's in 17th. Actually Sutton up from 35th to 18th. Williamson challenge, he's up 4 more spots already, and he's just passed Rhys Saunders as well. That moves him up to 20th. So 28 places gained, but Saunders comes back past in the draft. 073 car hung out to dry on the outside as Saunders in that 6 machine will come past. And I think that is the car of Chris Bassett, the 667 car. Might actually get the pair of them here as they run down towards the carousel.
He might well do. Bassett on the inside right there. As Rhys Saunders on the outside here, still 2 by 2 coming down into the entrance to the boot here. Rhys Saunders will have the advantage being on that inside line, but can Chris Bassett get a good enough exit to challenge? But he's coming under pressure from Fraser Williamson. He's looking to gain 1 more spot on the many he's gained already.
Certainly is, and the Wee Jock Race Car Challenge is certainly not letting up at this stage. There's some very busy drivers all around them. Alan Piercy getting involved here just behind that group. He will be a threat to be dealt with, of course. Looking further towards the front, we'll have a quick look at Nathan Davies, the boy from the Valleys. He's right behind Stuart Adcock and Brendan O'Brien at the moment. Also the car there, I believe, of Nathan Davies up in the mix. That's it. Okay, I'm so used to seeing Nathan Davies leading to the green car that I see a green car and an Apex car, and I'm thinking, okay, the green car must be Davies. It's not Clark Williams. Who's the Apex car? These guys keep changing their colours all the time.
Yeah, it's probably just to confuse you. But these guys around Nathan Davies, I think they've all stopped battling now because they're really trying to catch up to the front pack, and they're doing a pretty good job with that because they are now less than 2 seconds back, and soon they will be getting in the draft, and we could well have an 11-car race for the win here.
We certainly could look at the front pack here, the 15, the 09, the 37, 21 and 13 here, this front 5 group as they come up onto the backstretch again. Early jump out for Tom Ward. He's going to go too wide there with Fremantle Ides, and we'll see a big run here from Benny Simonson and a blue, grey and white Apex Racing car. Here comes Tim Adcock as well. Is he going to get involved in this mix? We'll see if he can put it in there. And he's going to just slice the middle ever so closely for Tim Adcock. That was precise, we're going to say. That was very, very close. Great racing there from Tim Adcock, putting his car in a very, very small space. Through to the front goes Benny Simonson ahead of Antonides, ahead of Ward. That order shuffling up somewhat. Second group is still headed by, well, it's headed now by Stuart Adcock. He's finally got past Brendan O'Brien, Linus, moving him up into the 6th spot. The group distance, though, to the front pack has really come in now since they've been fighting, so we could see them catch up very soon.
Yeah, that second group is just passing on the straightaways where they get to draft on each other, but in the corners they're just sitting in a straight line.
Oh, big incident. Sorry, Linus, we've got a big incident behind you involving Rhys Saunders. And I believe Ashley Sutton was involved in this one, possibly. He was, yes. Ashley Sutton right behind, I believe, the car of Mark O'Connell, with Rhys Saunders to the inside. Replay up for you there. And, oh, Sutton tries to pull out from behind O'Connell. Does it too late. Slams into the side of Saunders. And Saunders, unfortunately, has nowhere to go but to take him into the inside guardrail. Nearly catching Fraser Williamson there. Everyone else manages to avoid the carnage as Sutton's Skippy looking very much the worse for wear. If I remember anything from his Formula 4 days, it's either win it or end up in a tree. So he seems to have fulfilled at least that much, Connery.
Yes, of course. So your BTCC driver looking pretty much out of this race right here. Up front, though, it's still Benny Simpson. They are coming onto the back straight right now. Fahim Antonaez and Tom Ward have the run. They've got a little bit of a gap to Tim Adcock right there. Mark Turner close behind. But here we go. We're going to go 3 wide again down the back straight.
We certainly are. It's a very quick 3 wide, a very polite 3 wide there from your front 3 runners. But still time for the draft to be effective for Mark Turner and Tim Adcock behind them in 4th and 5th. As they'll look, but they won't touch. They'll just hang back at the moment and wait to see if some late race carnage happens ahead of them, and we could see podiums for these two possibly in the future. Gap opening up behind them. Stuart Adcock is only 1 second back though from this group, so well within striking distance at the moment. We'll see if he can get up there and get involved in this one in the last couple of laps. We have 3 laps to go after completion of this one, so everything to play for, and a second is not a large gap, Linus.
No, it will get eaten up very, very fast, and one little mistake from the front 2 of this group, the lead group, and the 3 cars group will have to check up, and their next 6 will be right up there. But I think Tim Adcock is looking like he's playing a bit of defensive mode now to try and wait and see for a mistake from the guys in front of him, because he really wants to finish this high and he wants to get on the podium, but at the same time I don't think he want to take too much of a risk and end this race this late.
Certainly not. Looking back to the 073 of Fraser Williamson, going to try and make a move here on Mark O'Connell. The car ahead of them both will be Robert Plumley as well, so Williamson trying to find a way through. Rear wing on O'Connell's car not looking particularly straight, so they're going to try and find a spot, but not finding really much of an opening there, of course, Linus. But got some opportunities in the last part of this lap. He got some good corners to set a pass up in, especially that final corner. Oh, Plumley sideways.
Yeah, he really just needs to bide his time here and look for a gap, and I think he's got the experience in this car. He's going to be able to pull this off. O'Connell is not a bad driver though, so he's going to do what he can to defend this, but Fraser is on a mission, like you've said, since the beginning, and he will be trying to possibly get a run out of the last corner. It looks like he will.
He certainly has it.
Go up the inside, going down into turn 1.
He's got a good run into turn 1. This has been one of his favourite passing spots all race long. We've seen him go up the inside of cars here into 1 all the time. Will he get a double here? Will he pull a bit of a Penske shuffle? He gets O'Connell, and very wide running Plumley will not get him, but it'll be too wide up the S's. We'll see what they can do here. Oh, contact there as O'Connell tucks in a bit too harsh. And we saw the radio flash up for Williamson. Expected some very, very adult language from the young Scotsman. Probably just expressing his desire to have been passed in a different direction, but we'll see. Good run here on Plumley. We'll see if he can make a move here in the 073 car. He goes easily up to the inside there. Should clear him in time, but we could see a 3 wide. He does defend to the inside. He blocks the braking zone. That's a nice defensive move there from Williamson, which just blocks O'Connell's run on the inside, stops it going 3 wide, and actually holds a pair of them out as they'll both lose time there in the carousel. Great tactical racing, Linus.
Yeah, it's good defensive driving by Fraser there, but going down that straight away next time around, both of them are going to have a massive run, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him drop back behind these two again.
Absolutely, but there are a number of laps remaining which could put him back ahead of them, so we'll keep an eye on that one later on. Looking back to the front of the race, it's out front. It is Benny Simonson, Tim Adcock again. Behind them, it is Tom Ward, although just getting passed now by Fahim Antonaez in the 15. 2 wide through the exit of the boot there. Very tricky left-hand camber changing corner. Mark Turner also involved. He's been very quiet so far. Stayed in 5th most of this race. Behind them, that second group really hasn't managed to catch up yet, as we saw a uncharacteristic mistake up the front cornery. That was Benny Simonson just eating some grass off the penultimate corner. You'd think he was racing for Mad Cow rather than Apex.
Yeah, that's a fan favourite team, shall we say? But none of their members running so far in this race as they come down through turn 1, taking a really, really wide exit as you can do here. Benny Simpson's still in the lead, but he will come under attack from Tim Adcock. Fahim Antonaez also has Tom Ward right under his gearbox right there. Let's see if they go 3 wide yet again down this back straight. I'd put my money on it.
I'd say we're almost expecting as it's 2 wide already between Tim Adcock and Benny Simonson at the front. And it's going to be 2 wide, 2 deep. Will we go 4 wide here? And Antonaez will look for a spot. Ward will go running outside. It's going to be at least 3 wide, as Tim Adcock actually comes off best here on lap number 11, heading towards the final lap. Runs a little bit wide, just holds up the car there of Ward. Nice driving here by Tim Adcock as the pair of them behind will have to run in sequence. Will we see a lunge by Tom Ward into 7? We will not. Tim Adcock leads the group as almost getting hung on the outside is Simonson. Just a bit of a nose in the inside is Antonides. He might have a chance as Turner will dive. He won't find any room. This front pack is certainly getting very angsty right now. This is the pre-dance shuffles before we begin our final lap. Will you dance with me? I don't know, will you dance with me? Well, obviously everyone has to organise dance partners for this one, but no one can really decide who they want to work with or if they know the foxtrot, because it might be necessary. Coming up to this final lap, it's going to be very busy, we can imagine. Tim Adcock, though, out front once again as he runs a little wide, but holds it nice and collected, but it'll give the run to Tom Ward, who has to sacrifice that into the braking zone now.
And look at the second pack, they're closing up.
They are closing up very quickly.
Checking up like that.
Yeah, very quick gains by the second pack. Stuart Adcock could catch this group in the final lap. We know the draft gap for the Skippys is about a second, so anything could happen here if they get a very good run in the front pack. Fights a lot. Big check up there as Simonson actually checks up coming through the final corners. Could be a tactical move there as he checks up Antonides and Turner. Out front, a clear good gap for Tim Adcock with Tom Ward behind him. This really does leave Tim Adcock in a very vulnerable position though, Connery.
Yeah, very vulnerable. He's going to be the first one to hit the straight as we see a car off right there. I didn't quite catch the name. But Tim Adcock, he has got
them.
Yeah, the second pack are there, ready and waiting. Let's see what Stuart Adcock can do when he gets the draft down this front straight.
Up to the backstretch for the final time now as we are on lap number 12 here. And the second pack has caught the front group, but not going to be enough at the moment. Clark Williams and the car of Nathan Davies going to make the move on Stuart Adcock as we expected, but too wide at the front. Around the outside of Adcock, Tim will go. Tom Ward behind them. Here comes Benny Simonson to the inside. To the outside goes for him Antonides. 3 wide, through will go Antonides. Antonides slips up and through goes Simonson. The undercut works very nicely, but Tim Adcock pulls back alongside here. Racy from the Martini car is nearly hitting Ellis Stevens off the side of the track there. That could have been disastrous as behind him it's 2 by 2 by 2. Winner, of course, in that battle, Clark Williams at the moment. We'll see what develops from this one. Tom Ward out front at the moment, ahead of Simonson. Will we see any further shuffling? Will we see contact? Antonides tags the back of Tim Adcock. Checking up all 3 of them. This could give Clark Williams a chance to run through here. And he will get stuck straight in. Clark Williams looking for a spot. He spells a podium now as the front 2 break away. There's an opportunity here for Clark Williams to make a move. Can he do it? Slows up behind Antonides. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. We go from 3rd place backwards here. 3 corners left to go here in Monday Night Skippies. It's Tom Ward. It's Benny Simonson out front. 3rd place at the moment is Antonides, but Tom Ward, Tim Adcock I should say, and Mark Turner getting a run. So here comes Stuart Adcock as well. Adcock behind Adcock now. Will one of them get a podium in the final run? Looks like Antonides might have
Battle for your lead though. Benny
it is a battle for the lead.
Inside.
He's not going to get it though. Tom Ward will hold on to the lead here. Tom Ward will win Monday Night Skippies at Watkins Glen. 2nd place to Simonson. Antonides in 3rd. Side by side though for 4th and 5th. Tim Adcock holds out over Stuart Adcock. What an incredible finish there between the 2 Adcocks. Behind them nearly 3 wide with Williams, Davies and O'Brien. Fantastic racing from this group. We'll look a bit further back, see who else has had good finishes. Most cars finishing in fairly single file order, nothing too crazy. But a great race nonetheless, Linus.
Yeah, it was an amazing race from what we've seen, and having 11 cars in the lead pack on the last lap, that I think is the first time I've ever seen that on iRacing, apart from Talladega and Daytona on the ovals.
Certainly was, and whilst we wait for interviews from our... Well, actually, no, we're going to go straight to our finishing order for the race. Before we go to interviews, I'm getting ahead of myself. The results. Coming home with the victory here at Watkins Glen in round number 8, it is Tom Ward from Friction Racing. Apex Racing UK's Benny Simonson in 2nd. Antonides comes home in the final step at the podium. Finishing off the top 5 is Tim Adcock and Stuart Adcock. Behind them, Mark Turner comes home in 6th place, Clark Williams, Nathan Davies, Brendan O'Brien, Brian J. Holmes in 10th. Rest of those positions up on your screen as we are going to get a chance to chat to Fraser Williamson, who has won the Wee Jock McRace Car Award for tonight, climbing a whopping 31 positions on the racetrack.
I think that's a new record.
Actually, DJ Coombe climbed 32, so you got beaten by one.
But he doesn't
Oh,
Sorry.
partake in such participations.
I believe he is English and therefore doesn't qualify. But
But
still,
how did
impressive
she get
performance, Fraser. We do find out, of course, that your competitor Reece Saunders, I believe, had an incident, dropped back to 29th in the end. But to finish 17th from so far back, traffic management, a very vital skill for you. Just how difficult was it?
Flying it in up the inside, go for wide. It was just a good race.
We apologise for that, folks, but these things sometimes happen when we're dragging people around to chat to for interviews. Fraser, thank you very much for your time. We're going to get a chance to chat now to Benny Simonson, who now you're live on Racebot TV. Please do not swear. But Benny, you came home today in second. Very frantic race for you guys at the front. Lots of action and not much chance to think. Drafting almost as bad as the Nürburgring or even Le Mans.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lottery track. I haven't done Le Mans or Nürburgring before, so don't know what they like, but it's just a lottery of who gets it, isn't it?
It certainly is, but good second place, good points for you in the championship. How are things looking?
It's just a one-off for me this season. I haven't really done any of the other races, but so I kind of drove for the win, but messed up my toe for the last lap just by a tenth or two. So, but fair play to Tom. He drove great, so he deserved it.
Well, great second place for you, Benny. Thanks for joining us. We are now going to get a chance to quickly chat to the man who spent his time upside down, who did not win the Wee Jock McRace Car Award like Fraser Williamson. That is Ryan G. Walker. Ryan, didn't end the way you wanted.
Yeah, I had a good start to the race and was in the top 10. And then basically it was just mayhem out there. And on the launch day, I got a run on someone in front of me and went up the inside. And I think Nathan had a sneaky look up the inside as well. And basically we just got caught up with each other. And that was no one's fault. It was just a racing incident. And yeah, that's just the way it goes.
Well, unfortunate end to the race, but there are at least 4 more rounds for you, so better luck next time.
Thanks.
Speaking of difficult to understand accents, we're going to go next from Scotland to the valleys of South Wales. Nathan Davies from Apex Racing came home today in 8th place, qualified 15th, so a good climb, Nathan. Poor qualifying, but you've actually finished a race this season.
Yeah, how about that, huh? Yeah, I've honestly not been on my rig for about 2 weeks now, so I came in completely cold like 1 minute before quali, so my quali wasn't too great, but I felt the race made up for it. The race was really good fun. A bunch of us worked together and had a good old ding-dong at the end there. It was really good fun.
Or perhaps we found the solution is you don't need to practice.
Maybe that's what it is, Rachel.
Maybe it is. Thanks for joining us, Nathan.
Thanks.
I was going to grab him sooner, but we have got 3rd place finisher tonight, Fahim Antonides. We talked to Benny Simonson earlier, Fahim, about how dense the traffic was for you guys at the front. The draft and timing that move, so critical. 3rd place for you, good result?
Yeah, I don't think anyone can complain about a podium result, but I was hoping for more. My strategy was to lie in 4th, because obviously there was 4 of us in the last pack. So I thought... I got to lie in 4th to get a really good slingshot on the straight going into the carousel. If you can lead going into the carousel, you can pretty much hold your spot from there all the way to the finish line. The only problem was that I think Tim got slightly loose into the carousel. I could see from my peripheral vision that he was sliding towards me. And so I reacted to that and tried to go a little wide. And as you could probably see in the replay, I had to catch a slide or slid halfway around the carousel. And then the other incident with Tim was having survived the carousel, going down the left-hander, downhill left-hander, then you come up to the right-hander uphill, which I think is called toe or boot. His exit speed was a little bit slower than mine. And because of that, I gave him a little bit of a love tap, which unfortunately cost him a podium position. But by then, obviously, Tom and Benny were far gone, and there was nothing I could do about that. But like I say, third is a good result in anyone's book.
Certainly is, and a fantastic result at that. Certainly good championship points for you, Fahim. Thanks for joining us. We are, of course, running out of time tonight, so we're going to have a quick last chat now with Paul Thurston, as we always do every single week. Paul, you finished this week, again, good, but kind of lost 2 spots overall from qualifying 11th. You finished 13th, but you survived, more importantly.
Yeah, well, I qualified a little bit out of place, didn't I? I mean, I had a really good little drafting partner in Ash, and we were sort of helping each other out. So that pulled me a little bit further up the grid than I deserved to be. But after that, it was a very interesting race. It was I liked the Glen because it's. I always remember the night after my daughter was born. I did a double header here in Grand Prix Legends in the Old and Slow Racing League, and I won them both. So I have very good memories of this place, and I think I channeled a little bit of that tonight to actually stay on track. I did actually hit Nathan slightly. We were 3 wide in the loop, and then I think I turned in slightly on Bill Fraser as well. So the people who normally bully me, I was bullying them, so that's all right. I don't mind that.
I don't think Nathan Davies can feel too bad because everyone's managed to hit him this season, so you're not in very poor company, at least, Paul.
No, well, it's as I say, he didn't actually just talk to him in the lobby there, and he didn't even feel anything. So it was a really light touch, but it was good driving all round actually. I mean, I had a great little fight with Rob Green and Bill Fraser after that, and then I got past them up the hill, sort of wall of death up the inside, and I was trying to get a little bit of a gap. Just so they couldn't get me up the hill, and they just seemed to go straight on at the 90 at turn 1. So I don't know what happened there. I haven't managed to speak to them. But
unfortunately, sometimes race car.
Yeah, sometimes race car, sometimes not race car, not stop.
I don't think I could have said it any better myself. Well, thank you for joining us, Paul. We'll have a quick chat to you after we've gone off air, but right now we are running out of time, so we are going to wrap things up for tonight. Once again, another fantastic and unforgettable round of Monday Night Skippies here on Motorsport TV. Don't forget, you can join us same time next week as we go for 21 laps around the Roval, that is New Hampshire in Loudon. And we are racing the road with Southern Oval. This one's going to be interesting, so stay tuned. Catch us next week. Last season was a little crazy. We'll see if they do the same. I've been Richard Whiteford. I've been joined by Connery Maddock and Linus Brostrom. As always, Hugo Luis on the cameras, and of course thanks to Esteban Ballach for the amazing camera views. You've been watching Motorsport TV and iRacing Live. Have a good night.